So yeah, Adin Ross. Yeah, this is, I pulled this up earlier today. Now, it's been an entire week since Speed got canceled for being mean to a girl in Valorant, right? And today, there was a video. I'm not going to play the video, but YourRAGE Gaming is a streamer, usually streams at night. I've seen his streams multiple times. And he called up Adin Ross, and Adin Ross used the F word. Mean? You mean sexist? Yeah, I think he was being sexist. Like, he absolutely was. Like I said this before, like, Speed was 100% sexist. He was 100% in the wrong. It's like, yes, obviously, trash talk is one thing, but whenever you're using somebody's real-life characteristics, it's no longer trash talk in a video game because you're talking about things that are not in the game. I totally agree. I'm totally on board with that. I totally agree. I felt the same way. We're not going to get into that. That was last week. This is this week. Let's complain about this one instead. And let's see here. YourRAGE not being where is live as a joke. Chat began referring to him as Alan Moss instead of Adin Ross. So Adin said the homophobic F word. Okay, we think we all know the word. And I said F word. So what? Yeah, we all know the word. And he said this, and I find this entire timeline to be utterly ridiculous. So basically what happened is that Adin said this word, and then Jake is saying that he said the word. Everybody is accusing Jake of clout chasing. And then YourRAGE Gaming is telling him it wasn't fucking Adin. It was actually his friend from high school who just happened to call on the stream, who just happens to sound exactly like Adin Ross. What a fucking surprise. How could that ever possibly happen? And now they've turned this around on Jake about how Jake actually doesn't like black people, and that's why he's doing it, because he also tried to make the tweet about Speed last week. So Jake is actually the racist here. Adin didn't do it, and it wasn't even homophobic at all. If you read the comments, that's what they're saying. This is the timeline that we existed. And remember what I said before about the less you care about it, the more enjoyable it is? This is fucking stupid. Yes, time is a tangled web. And so anyway, so look at YourRAGE's tweet, okay? That was my friend from high school, not Adin Ross. You fed. Let me explain something here, okay? So if you have So this is like a pyramid of tattletale terms, okay? Tattletale. And then what's a little bit above that? Maybe snitch. And then above that is narc. Fed is at the very fucking top of the pyramid of insults about somebody who is a rat. Oh, rat is, in my opinion, I think that we'll put rat right here, okay? Like, fed is at the very fucking top. I don't even see people use this as a term. So YourRAGE Gaming went right to the very fucking top immediately. Immediately for Jake. And so now Jake is actually getting a bunch of hate for making a tweet about this and talking about it. And he's fucking pissed off. Now, obviously, they're never going to say, because they're actually making a good decision here by just completely fucking doubling down on the fact that it wasn't Adin. Even though anybody who watches the clip knows that it's obviously Adin, because there's plausible deniability there, and I am not 100% certain. I'm only 99% certain that it was Adin. So, let's be real. They're going to say that, so if then either of them gets in trouble, they can go and say, well, Adin's getting banned for something he didn't even do. You see what I'm saying? You see what's going on in their head? I think this is what's happening, right? Yeah, and what's the big deal? Well, that's what a lot of people are saying. I looked at the quote retweets, and this is always a really good way to tell what people are thinking. Nobody really gives a shit about this, which is really surprising, because usually people care about this kind of stuff a lot. But almost everybody in this thread is attacking Jake. They're pissed off at Jake. They said, fuck you, we don't care. That's it, LSF does? Yeah, but that's like, what, like 5,000 people? Like, that's not that many people. Like, there's way more people in these communities than LSF. That's it. That's just the Adin community? Yeah, it's crazy. Who cares? Apparently not them. Yeah, maybe it isn't him. Who cares? Just F for it. We're going to act like we never use it now. Well, I don't really care about that, right? You're right to obsess with Twitter and things that don't matter. I am? Well, I think they're funny. I think they're funny. I think it's funny. It's funny to watch how these things play out. It's funny to see how these things go. Yeah, it's just funny. I enjoy it. Yeah, this is what I do. I cover it for content. Yeah, it's pathetic. Yeah, it's just another fucking day. And a bigger deal is using the victim card whenever something like this happens. Well, of course they're going to do that. Why would they not do that? They don't want to get in trouble. They don't want to get people mad at them. Why would they not use the victim card? It just makes sense. What kind of precedent does it start? So you can just go on anyone's stream and say any word and not get banned? Well, no, because it's not Adin. It was YourRAGE's friend from high school. Yeah, it was his friend from high school, guys. It had nothing to do. It was not. Why are we talking about Adin? Why are we talking about Adin? Like, what do you mean? Like, Adin? Like, who's Adin? Like, where did Adin come into this? Yeah, exactly. Like, that's crazy. And Jake's being another H3 key. Well, I think that a lot of people are. This is like just in general. I feel like this is happening a lot in the culture now. Is that people are tired of people whose like existence is built around canceling other people. Like, regardless of like what the reason is for it, I think there's just a general fatigue for this, and that's why you're seeing so much pushback on it towards Jake. Is that people are just fatigued with like having to worry about the person who is trying to like, you know, get impressions because of the fact that they can like find somebody and get them in trouble. You know what I mean? Like like make them look bad. That's basically what happens. I think that's why a lot of people are pushing back on it, regardless of what they said or regardless of anything else like that before. Yeah, and they're pulling the Uno reverse card. So Jake is exposing Adin for saying this, and then they're calling Jake a racist. There we fucking go, boys. And it's literally that simple. Jake said some homophobic stuff in the past. Yes, I know. And here's the best part about it, is that I'm sure some of the tweets that were made, so like Jake has obviously said the F word in the past as well. I don't even know if the tweets are real. And if Jake says they're not real, then people are going to think that they're even more real. So it's like it gets to the point where it's not even, it's like there's nothing that's real. Everything is about like, it's like, you see what I'm saying? They're all fake tweets. Yeah, but like, I don't know if they're faked or not. Most people that are reading them are probably thinking that they are. It was fake. But does it, here's what I'm saying, is that if enough people believe something, it being fake doesn't matter. You see what I mean? Because really, like, there's no, like, it's all just an idea. So like the idea that exists in people's head, there's no like, there's no tangible representation of this in the real world. Like, this is not something you can touch. It's not something you can change. It's not something you can prove. It's just an idea. So it doesn't even really matter if he said it or not, because people believe that he did. Isn't that fucking insane? Isn't that it's all about the narrative? And that's the kind of stuff that I find it so interesting. And so yeah, he's a degenerate for saying it. No other way around it. Oh yeah, I mean, like, it's like, listen, like, I stopped saying that stuff. If I stop saying it, you could stop saying it too. Like, the thing is, like, I stopped saying that shit. And like, I've never had a fuck up on stream. And that's impressive. Like, cause I accidentally say words all the time. I have never had a fuck up on stream. It's never happened. And so that's it. How many people are banned for something like my little brother said that and never unbanned, biased much? How many people have you banned for stuff like my little brother said XXX and never unbanned, biased much? I'm not biased at all. I think that if you actually watch the ban appeals, you'd see my reasoning behind it. And then, you know what? You're working backwards. You're working backwards. You think that I'm biased, so you're looking for a reason to prove that I'm biased. You're not using the scientific method. You're using the cancel culture method. And I'm not going to play into that. The reason that I unbanned them is that it's a pattern of behavior. Oh, my little brother got on the keyboard today. Oh, really? Then why have you been racist for the past 2 months? Did he just get on the keyboard every day, huh? That's why. It's an insult to my intelligence. I'm not biased at all. Absolutely not. You're actually really fair with bans. I am incredibly fair. Yeah, exactly. I'm incredibly fair, and I get it. I always get these right. I never make bad calls. I really do. I think that I almost always make the right call. I do. So fuck cancel culture. It's stupid. I think there are a lot of people, and you see this, right, with Adin's community. And here's the truth. Is like, unless Adin gets banned for this, his viewership will not change. Because nobody in his community gives a fuck about this. Regardless of how you feel, regardless of how I feel, nobody in his community cares. And that's it. And like, that's what I find to be very, very interesting about this whole thing. W community doesn't give a fuck. No, it doesn't. Because the fact is, and this is another factor too. A lot of people think that the way people act, like popular content creators act, is the norm. Let me tell you something. If you go, people say, oh, people would never survive a Modern Warfare lobby, Modern Warfare 2 lobby nowadays. Like, that's like a very popular meme to say. What the fuck do you mean back then? Like, that this is happening today. Like, go join a Call of Duty lobby today, and they're saying the same stuff. What do you think, that everybody just stopped saying this? Like, no, they say the exact same stuff. They say the same things. If I go down, listen, if I go down to the park and I listen to people playing basketball, they are saying the same shit. And you know, oh, that's not true. It's not the same. Yes, it is. And if you can, there's fucking proof of it. It's not even close. Absolutely, it's the same. How do I know that? Because I played Call of Duty every fucking day with voice chat open on my stream. On my second stream, I did this like every day for hours, and I would join into voice chat, and I had to mute every single time because people use those words. I had to mute every single time. I did. It's not as bad as the old days. It's not as bad as the old days. Probably not. I will grant you that. It probably is not quite as bad, but it's still, it's low-key worse. Some of it's probably slightly better, but it's still pretty bad. I'm in high school, and it's said quite often. Yeah, of course, right? Yeah, there's plenty of people that talk like that. And I think that there's a lot of people that get a weird perspective on the world because they spend all of their time listening to and in the communities of very popular influencers who it's financially beneficial to them to take those things out of their communities. But whenever you actually go to an unmoderated community, this stuff is still alive and well. It happens all the time. It doesn't matter if it's if it's on 4chan. It doesn't matter if it's on an unmoderated Reddit. It doesn't matter if it's on a lobby for a video game. It is still, in my opinion, pretty much the same as it used to be. Because actually, the truth is, back then, not everybody used those words back then either. They're saying sensitive people won't last in those lobbies. Yeah, but like that was always the case. People would always leave and get upset. You know, that's all there is to it. What your take on for-profit companies taking sides? Can we get your take on for-profit companies taking sides in these types of issues? Listen, these companies are, in my opinion, I think that if it was financially beneficial, these companies would be promoting white power. I think they are absolute vampires. They are blood-sucking, soulless corporations that do not care about any of the issues that they are promoting. They are merely co-opting these issues to sell more of their products. They don't care about you. They don't care about minorities. They don't care about women. They don't care about any of these people. The only thing they care about is your money. And they're co-opting these social issues to pretend like they care about them, so you'll give them more money and buy more of their shoes that were made in third world countries produced by next-in slaves. That's what they're doing. That is 100% it. I can respect some companies like Hobby Lobby and Ben & Jerry's who stand by their principles and lose money because of it. But the fact is, a lot of these companies will never do that. There is blatant hypocrisy that exists throughout the entire thing, and it's obvious to anybody, which makes a lot of people very, what's the word for it? Cynical. It makes people very, very cynical. They're working towards something good. Is that not a good thing? I think that it is not a good thing. I think that it is impure. You are doing something. Is doing a good thing for a bad reason still good? I think that, for example, there are a lot of companies that are trying to get behind these issues because they're trying to make their own public image good. And I think what happens is they align themselves with these issues, and then people are more skeptical of the issues because the companies that are supporting them have blatant hypocrisy inside of them. So, for example, like, people become skeptical of these different social issues because they're being supported by these large companies that are simultaneously doing things that are even worse. So I actually do think that it's a bad thing. I think that it delegitimizes the issues. It turns the issues themselves into a matter of currency, into a marketing tool, and it makes them less pure, and I do think that it's bad. I think that if you believe in something, by all means, support it. But the fact is that a lot of these companies stop supporting it the moment that it stops making them money. And I can guarantee you that, because go look at their Twitter accounts whenever it is the Pride Month and it's their account for Saudi Arabia. No change. They're lying. They don't care, and they will not give a shit about it. That's the facts. A lot of people won't say that, but I will. Do corporations generally want to make a difference? I think people in the companies do, yeah, for sure. Collectively, no. Yeah, collectively, no. I think a lot of people are afraid to say that kind of stuff, but yeah, I think more people should call it out. And finding climate change for a bad reason, like profit, is a good thing for the world as a whole. So yes, I don't think so, because I think that whenever it's kind of like, let me think of an example behind this. Okay, actually, this is a great example, and I'll use it in actually this circumstance. I think that, so let me give you an example of how I think this makes it worse. Whenever Speed got called out for like that whole thing that happened in the Valorant lobby, Keemstar went on this huge crusade about how that Jake was only doing it to Speed because Speed was black, right? It was because Jake didn't want to see a black kid succeed. And I think that delegitimizes actual racism, because it muddies the waters between what's real and what's not. And Keemstar is effectively co-opting and weaponizing a legitimate problem in order to promote something that's illegitimate. So like that's a good example that I can use of how it's a small example, but can you guys see what I'm saying? Yeah, can you guys see what I'm saying in this? Yeah. Okay, good. I thought so. I actually feel like that kind of complained it well. Yeah, there we go. Did I mention any name or some of them? Well, listen. The Keemstar thing, Keemstar has said some funny stuff in the past. Like, every once in a while, Keemstar will say something I agree with. I'm not going to get into, like, is Keemstar a good guy or not? I don't care. Keemstar unfollowed me on Twitter, by the way. He followed me on Twitter for a while, and then he unfollowed me. I don't know what the fuck happened. Did I fall off or what? Like, yeah, can you fucking believe that? Good example. What says here? Sure, but that's what we're discussing here. We're talking about whether a company pushing for climate change action is helpful for the world, which it is, regardless of the motives they have behind it. But, like, don't you think, and this is, like, for example, like, this is, let me give you another example. So, like, you want a climate change example. Let me use a climate change example and show you how I think that it delegitimizes the issue. And we're not going to talk about companies. We're going to talk about individuals. So how many times have you guys heard about these different celebrities that are going around and talking about how much climate change is important, but they're doing it in their own private jets? You see what I'm saying? So, like, they're doing it in their own private jets. And I think that, like, yes, the private jets, and, like, people see the hypocrisy in that. And I think in seeing that level of hypocrisy, it delegitimizes climate change as a whole. I think that it delegitimizes climate change as a whole. That's my opinion on it, and I think a lot of people believe that. Yeah, cars are worse. How? Well, no. See, you guys are missing. You're totally missing the point. I am not saying that I think that it delegitimizes it. I'm saying that people think that it delegitimizes it. I am not defending it. I am not saying that they are right. I'm saying that this is something that happens. Like, this is completely different. I'm not saying that, like, cars are worse. You don't need to argue this point with me. I am a big believer of climate change. I am. I'm a big supporter of it. I think it's a very big issue. Absolutely. So I don't even believe this. Climate change is fake. No need to change if the earth is flat. True. Never heard about that before. You support climate change? Absolutely. Let's set this bitch on fire. 100%. Let's set off some nukes just for fun. We'll see what's going to happen. Yeah, we love climate change in here, boys. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Let's make it a little bit colder around here. And, yeah, everybody open their door, turn on their AC. We'll lower the temperature of the whole world. And, yeah, I mean, listen, guys, I don't want to see, like, I think that a lot of people do this. Like, whenever I explain the way that I believe, and this is, again, this is the way that I believe things work. And everybody has their own opinion on how people think and everything like that. And sure, there are people that are going to disagree with me on this. That's just what happens. But this is the way that I think people's brain works. This is the way that I think that it affects people. And I'm not saying that they're right. I'm not saying that it's true. I'm saying that it happens. That's my point. You guys see what I'm saying? Whether it's true or not doesn't matter. It's whether people believe it or not and how it's perceived. Yes, exactly. Cars being worse isn't true. See, this is it again. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about like what your take on climate change is because it's irrelevant. Nobody's going to change their opinion about climate change in this chat. You're not going to make people think differently about it. Everybody's already made up their mind about it, and nobody cares about what your reason is. It's like everybody's like, I cannot imagine the mind of a person who, after they hear what I'm saying, they're typing out a well-written in proper English explanation of why this is not true. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not talking about this. Who are you talking to? This is not it. So either way, I feel like this kind of stuff happens. Influencer corporations are dumb, self-defeating whenever it comes to political goals. Not always. I think that sometimes different people do actually promote positive change, right? I remember Arnold Schwarzenegger, for example, was a very big advocate against gerrymandering. I think gerrymandering is obviously cheating, and so we shouldn't have it. 100%. So I do think that there are many cases where it actually does happen. You know, Arnie's doing what he needs to do, right? So there are examples of people that do make a positive change in many regards. But that doesn't mean that every single change that's made is positive, and it doesn't mean that every single change that's made is pure. Let's say that. Yeah, what's gerrymandering? It's like basically like they take like the voting districts and they make them in weird shapes, so it like disenfranchises like poor people, basically, because it makes good fractions of where the poor people get outvoted every time. That's generally what happens. And like they're rigging it, right? I mean, this is just what people do. Listen, in my opinion, I think there was one election that in the whole world that was not rigged in some way and somebody didn't try to cheat in it. And that was the first election that ever happened. And I think the second election that ever happened, the first guy that lost the first time said, hold up, wait a minute, let's fucking add in fake votes. I think they're all somehow, you've got people, and this is, again, you've got people, it doesn't matter if it was this one, the last one, you've got people trying to inject their own opinion into it, even if it's in a very, very small way. Is it something that's going to change the outcome overall? Probably fucking not. But you've got a lot of people that do that. Why wouldn't they? Yeah, why wouldn't they? Look at the Texas map, please. Oh, who cares? Yeah, it doesn't matter anyway. We can't do anything about it. Yeah, so that's all I'm saying. Sad, pessimistic point of view. Yeah, well, it's true, too. That's sort of, again, poor people adjusting lines to get a majority of candidates to vote for a candidate based on area. Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, like, whatever. But, like, that's generally what it is. And you want to watch like PvP tournament? Today's my dad's birthday, so I'll be leaving a little bit earlier today. So that's not what's going to happen. Do we talk about the murder trial in Texas against a woman who self-aborted? No, I don't really care about that, to be honest. Listen, I don't give a shit about it. I don't want to talk about it. That's way too heavy. Well, I would much rather just talk about goofy, stupid bullshit like this. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I would much rather just talk about goofy, stupid bullshit. And so anyway, like, that's really my point is with all this stuff is that, you know, you see this kind of stuff that happens and it's just, I think if you don't care about it and you're not personally invested, the ridiculousness of it is pretty fucking funny. Like, just the story and the way that this kind of stuff comes out is just so fucking ridiculous. I'm actually curious to see what's going to happen next. I am. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen next. I can't wait. It's going to be great. And, yeah, Actman video. Yeah, we'll get into that. Don't worry about it. All right, let's look at this here. And, yeah, everybody's shitting on Jake. Look at this. You're trying to get Adin canceled as well, it seems. He's a journalist. That's what he does for a living. Thanks for letting me know. I now have a new favorite streamer. Whoops, this one slipped. There's no way you're trying to cancel someone for that right now. and then he just took the same thing that he posted and then just put the picture of that weird guy. And you're really trying to go 3 for 3. W. Cribs, and this is it here again. Jake Lucky being accused of racism. Wow, I'm shocked Aiden said this. Never in a million years I see the shock on my face. Every single response, nobody gives a shit. Really kind of surprising. Yeah, new Elden Ring world record, 6 minutes. Okay, well, I guess we can watch that, sure. Yeah, let's see here. Scrolling in Twitter. Well, I already looked at it. That's how I know. Yeah, I knew it would be okay. Homophobes in chat. I think that the fact is people just don't like being told what they can and can't say. That's all there is to it. And they don't care about if it's offensive to somebody else. It doesn't matter to them. They just want to say what they want to say. And if you try to tell them that they can't say it, they're going to push back on it, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you tell them that it's offensive. It doesn't matter if you tell them that it's bad. People don't like being told what to do. And if you try to tell people what to do, they are going to push back on you. That's all there is to it. Whether it's a good or a bad thing, those are the facts.